Now, when I say that on stage, most people automatically think of these, the great highland bagpipe. And in fact, they go, "Ah, you play bagpipes." And when they say you play bagpipes, they actually mean these. So, I think, no, it's... No, I don't play the Great Highland Bagpipe. I own a set, but these are Great Highland Bagpipes. But bagpipes don't just mean these Great Highland Bagpipes, which mercifully I'm going to now put back to bed again. So when I say I play bagpipes, I mean I play the Scottish small pipes, I play Swedish bagpipes, and I play English border pipes. Lots of different sorts of bagpipes, because there are lots and lots of different sorts of bagpipes from around many different places of the world. So I thought I would show to you a little bit about bagpipes. Bagpipes that are not the Highland bagpipe, the Great Highland Bagpipe style, which I do love, but really don't play. So I play the Scottish small pipes, much smaller, as you can tell by the fact that I can hold these ones. Now usually they're played with bellows. So instead of having to blow in through the blowpipe, like you saw me do on the Highland pipes, I use some bellows. Very simply, the air comes in through this valve here and goes out through this hole here. So as I inflate the bellows with air, it then goes in here and out here. These are strapped underneath my right arm. There's a connecting tube. This is very similar to the Highland pipe inlet pipe. Goes into this hole that I showed the air coming out of. So then I pump the air in, the air goes into this bag here, which is where the bag part of the name comes from, bagpipes. If you're wondering, the other part, pipes, bagpipes, these are the pipes. So the air goes into the bag and out through this tube, which is called the chanter, and also out through these tubes. These are called the drones. So I'm inflating the bag, and then I insert a bit of pressure with my left arm. A very quiet and pleasant sound. Not that the Highland pipes aren't great. So how do we make the sound within the chanter? Let me take off my chanter and show you. So in the chanter, this has a cap on it so that I don't break the reed. If I take the cap off, you can see a double reed. Now this double reed, when you put air down it, the two blades vibrate together. Very much like if you have a blade of grass and you put it in between your thumbs in the summer and you can make it squeak. That's very much how it's working. Now with a Scottish small pipe reed, because we're using cold wind with the bellows, we don't actually like to put the reed in our mouth and make it damp, because that will disturb the reed, but it will squeak like that. Since you put it in the chanter, it's making the whole column of air here vibrate. So if I do that here, so you can hear now I'm getting some approximate music, I suppose. So this reed is making this column of air vibrate, and I'm moving my fingers, and as the air comes out of a different hole, it's a different length of pipe that is vibrating. So if I lift off this finger, it's now a shorter vibrating length, shorter vibrating length, shorter vibrating length, and the note gets higher in pitch. Now this has got a cylindrical bore, which means that when it overblows like a clarinet, and it doesn't go over the octave. So I basically have one octave of notes here. So that's what's in the chanter, that's what makes the melody. What's in the drone? I have a drone here. Now if I take the cap off the end of this drone, you can see this reed looks completely different. This is just a piece of cane. That's what we call a split cane reed. There's been a slit cut so that we have a tongue that I could pull out. I don't know if I can get that up to the camera, so I can pull the tongue out. And again, you're pushing air through it to make it vibrate. So there you can hear a note. And that's all it does. That's all the drone does. It drones on. It takes quite a lot of air. Now if I were to play the Highland practice chanter, I'd be blang, blang, blang. So you put the air into a bag, and that reservoir of air means you can solidly push air through the drones and the chanter the entire time, and it's a lot less strenuous. Now the Scottish small pipes in general have got 9 notes. These are the 9 notes. I've had this chanter built especially for me, so I've got a few extra notes. Thumb roll. G sharp. High B. So I've got 3 extra notes on my Scottish small pipes, and those are the only notes that I have on this set. If I want to play in a different key, I use a different chanter. So if I want to play in D, I play this one. If I want to play in C, I'll use this one. Or if I want to play in A, I'll use this one. I can combine the different drones together. Here's a tune. So these are the Scottish small pipes. But what is the difference between the Scottish small pipes and the English border pipes? Again, I play my English border pipes with bellows. So again, the air goes in through an inlet, which actually is behind me here, and out through this hole here. This has got a longer drone, so I need to stand slightly further back from the camera. And again, my tube goes in the bellows, and I inflate the bag. Slight pressure on the bag from my left arm. It's a slightly different sound to the Scottish small pipes, and that's because it is a conical bore. That means it tapers. You can actually see a slight taper on the outside, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's tapered on the inside. So it sounds a lot more like the Highland pipes, but is a lot quieter, which our neighbours are very grateful for. These do overblow at the octave, so the notes that I can play you can't get those notes on the Scottish small pipes. So there are benefits. Slightly louder, I've got slightly more notes, and you can also cross a finger. I have more than just the 9 notes that the Scottish small pipes have. So I've got, it's not quite a chromatic scale, but I can play major, minor, and it's great for playing all sorts of different tunes on. This set is in G, but you can have lots of different ones. Again, these are bagpipes. So when I say bagpipes, I mean anything that's got a bag and has got some pipes. I have 3 drones. Now, just like the Scottish small pipes, the reed is again split cane reed, but in this particular case, it's plastic. I'll stick that back in so I don't break it. And in the drone, which, to be honest, I don't think I've ever had to take the drone reed out. So I'm not going to now either. Just trust me that it's the same as the Scottish small pipe, a split cane reed. And if I play you a tune on these pipes, they'll sound like this. there. So these are the English border pipes. Lots and lots of references to bagpipes in England. In fact, earlier than the great Highland bagpipe. So what else do I play? We have the Swedish bagpipes. These are called säckpipa, which translates as bagpipes. So these are the säckpipa. They are probably the smallest because they've only got one drone. That's not to say they're the smallest bagpipe ever. They're just the smallest bagpipe in my collection, which my collection is not too huge. There's only 4 different sets that I have. And what's different about these ones, the chanter is much chunkier and you've got little dints to put your fingers in, which does act, it tunes it. There was somewhere that I read that it's because it was traditionally played by farmers with big chunky fingers. I think it's probably more to do with tuning. Now these are also cylindrically bored and so it doesn't overblow. So the notes I get are these. If I want to go higher, I just make the airflow slightly faster by pushing that down. I do have a few extra notes. So I have a minor note there and I have an elastic band here. If I remove the elastic band from over the hole that it's covering, it's more like the Scottish small pipe scale. I'll put that back. And I'll play with tune on these. Let's take a look at the reed. What we notice is this is not the double-bladed cane reed, it's a split cane reed, like this. So there's a split in here, so the air goes in and through the tube. And that means the drone reed is exactly the same as the chanter reed. So when I'm playing, I can make it sound like I'm playing really staccato notes because the reed is exactly the same timbre. It's a slightly different timbre in the Scottish small pipes. So although you do get a similar staccato effect, it's very, very pronounced on the Swedish pipes and we use that a lot. So a split cane reed in both the chanter and the drone. So that is a very brief introduction to bagpipes in general and all the bagpipes that I play and the bagpipes that I own. So that is bagpipes. And I filmed this for International Bagpipe Day, which is the 10th of March. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again in the next video.